and only Kingpin.
How's everybody doing? I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for tapping in with us, sharing your time. I know you're a busy man with everything you got going on, and especially sharing knowledge, because sometimes not everybody is so willing to share it. And so that's what our platform is about. So we want to ask you first and foremost, who is Kingpin, and just give us a little background of, synopsis of where you started from where you're at today.
I guess Kingpin for W's would be, I'm a Florida boy, been living in Atlanta now, maybe about 10 plus years. I used to work a square job. The skinny of it is I used to work a square job. One of my younger brother's friends came up to me after school one day and was like, man, I got this contract that I want you to take a look at. I'm kind of scared to take it to my parents. I didn't know anything about the music business. I looked at the contract and I was like, it just doesn't seem right. It only seems like one piece of paper and they want you to sign it and it's completely blank. Like, don't do this. So I was talking to a coworker the next day about it, and one of my other coworkers happened to walk in, and he was an artist. And he's like, oh, you know about the music business? And I was like, no, not really. I know common sense. So he's like, well, I'm an artist, man, and I would love for y'all to come to the studio and check it out. So just so happened, their studio was like 3 or 4 blocks away from where I lived when I lived in Tampa. And I went to the studio that night when we got out of work about 1 in the morning. We worked the night shift, and I ended up leaving the studio the next day at like 2 in the afternoon and never looked back. So I got in the game trying to figure out, where I can get my feet wet, if you will. The first Tom G documentary ever filmed, right? That was me walking around with the big ass camera. Shout out to the Drag Boys, Lord Drag, and all those guys for giving me the opportunity. Shout out to all the people in Tampa. DJ Shotgun, God bless the dead, DJ Shism, DJ Eakin, DJ Win. These are all people that gave me an opportunity. DJ Big Dog, Disco Jr. These are all people that opened up the doors for me. Mercedes Streets, one of the Orlando veterans, Lex Promotions. So these are all people that I was, coming up in the game with and learning from them and understanding that I wasn't as plugged in as Mercedes. So when I showed up, I had to work twice as hard, because she was going to show up with the rap trucks and she was going to show up with the squad with the big posters and the billboards, and I had the Bad News Bears. So I would always have to work twice as hard. So that started getting me to events an hour and 2 hours before everybody else. And I was going to TJ's DJs and taking over the conference. It would get to the point where we'd go to conferences and we would tell the people throwing the conference, like, we're here to help y'all set up. We're your labor team. Because most of these people that are doing conferences, it's them, their wife, and their cousin. Me and my street team are going to show up 5 hours early when you guys get there and where y'all need the posters and stuff put up at. Because we're going to put up our shit too. So whatever y'all got to put up, let me get it, and we're going to start doing that. So we started building those relationships. That's how I met Wendy Day. That's how I met Janiro Hawkins. That's how I met Tony Neal. That's how I got built an amazing relationship with Bigger Rankin that is still going, 15, almost 20 years now. So it's, who I was the guy that hung posters originally. Who I am now, I'll let the people determine that. I'm experienced. I've helped a couple people get to where they got to go. And my new goal is, I was just told recently that there was a billionaire made every hour during the pandemic. My goal moving forward is to be responsible for making a billionaire before this year is out, and helping make another billionaire, another 5 billionaires next year, every 18 hours. So that's why we're doing the podcast. Wendy Day is amazing. Ferrari Simmons is amazing. Shauna is amazing. The people that help us put together. But in a nutshell, I'm a street team guy that's put in a lot of work and has spent the last almost 20 years learning everything that didn't work in the music business. I still don't know what works, but I know what doesn't work.
They say you learn more from failure than success. So I think that's probably more important than learning what does, because that's how you eliminate what doesn't. But so I wanted to know, like I said, when we were looking for different content to create for our YouTube page, and I kept seeing all these people sharing all these really dope clips of the podcast you guys have launched. I want to know, how did the 3 of y'all come together and want to do this podcast? It's called Get the Cheat Code.
The cheat code, we tell people, everybody wants the cheat code. So if you want to find us, go get the cheat code. So get the cheat code. If they can search it on all social platforms, they'll find it. The actual podcast and the channel was called The Cheat Code. The Cheat Code Podcast is the website. Originally, Ferrari Simmons had went and met with Wendy Day, and they had a conversation. And myself and Ferrari, I always refer to myself as a weasel because I like to dig in and go down the rabbit hole, and I like to burrow, and I like to see where information takes me because I understand the value of it now. I understand why value is the number one. Value has replaced oil and water as the number one commodity in the world. Okay, so I understand and respect that. So that being said and done, myself and Ferrari have conversations. Myself and Wendy have built an amazing relationship. Whenever she has clients that need to go on the road, I'm her go-to guy. Whenever there's conversations that I have about industry-related questions or quarrels or I want to vent, she's that shoulder, and I've been able to build that relationship with her over the last, 15 going on 20 years as well, like I have with Bigger. So they sat together one day and they talked, and in the midst of that conversation, it was like, do you think Kingpin would love to do it? This is what I was told. So they each called me after and they were like, hey, Kingpin, do you want to? And I was like, yeah, of course. They were like, well, we haven't asked you yet. And that story is still going to remain the truth because even when you guys asked me, hey, Kingpin, do you want to? Yes. What do we got to do? Anything shy of having to go to Cuba and whack the beard, I'm there with you. Let's go get it together. Because I understand what you guys are trying to build. I understood what you were trying to build then, the first time I sat down with you guys. And I understand what you're trying to build now. And I think that's kind of the whole concept behind the podcast is, Wendy's time is invaluable. There's not enough money that you can pay to sit with this lady to pick her brain. This lady's had a hand in everything from Eminem to, Cash Money, to Lil Wayne, to Drake, to, in some way, shape, or form, she's influenced, touched, guided, consulted in somebody's career. Ferrari is arguably one of the most sought after radio executives in the music business because of the position that he holds in an A market. Not only that, him and his cohort, the Fly Guy DC, I got the Culture Shift Radio on Sundays. They do things with DTLR. They're hosting sometimes 4 nights a week in Atlanta. Insane. Now with the summer times with the day parties, these guys are going to be everywhere. So I was humbled and I was blessed. And I wasn't reserved because I never wanted to take an opportunity to voice or speak on the music business until I had a platform that was established, until I was respected enough amongst my peers, because I didn't want to come across as a hater. I don't want to come across as a know-it-all. And I want to walk that thin line, if you will. So, with this platform here, it gave me an opportunity to talk music business, debate it sometimes with people that I respect and that are respected by my peers. So it's kind of like a beautiful thing. And, we get together for 30 minutes and we chop it up and talk shit about the music business.
I mean, from looking at it, I see that you guys have, it's interesting because you'll go, like the clip was about publishing, and then you guys will talk about streaming, and then you'll talk about, but you break it down in clip wise for social media so it draws people in. I guess what I want to know is, over your years in the experience in the industry, how have you seen things change? And when they change, how have you been able to pivot to be able to stay relevant throughout all those years?
Got about 50,000 posts on my Instagram, right? There's about 150,000 posts tagged Promo Vatican. So much so that if you go on Instagram and you type in rap, one of the next suggested hashtags is going to be hip hop, world star, and Promo Vatican. So one of the things that we've always tried to do with social media is being social, number one. So when MySpace was the thing and everybody had the top 8, it was trying to figure out how to get the HTML code so you could dress it up so you can keep people's attention. And then it went from there and it's progressed into Twitter, with wake up in the morning and get the tweet from Diddy and everything else. And it was like, okay, very inspirational. And then from there it went, Facebook was always around, but originally Facebook, you had to have either a college, you had to be a student of college, and then it evolved into what it's become now. It wasn't originally that. What it is now, it wasn't that when it started, obviously. Snapchat came and went, and it's still there somewhere lurking in the back of somebody's phone. And then you've got the influx of all the other profiles. So understanding, not even trying to figure out the algorithm, but understanding what those platforms are for. So when you talk about those tidbits from the videos and the way that they're cut up and the way that they're put together, I would love to have a sinister plan and sit there and tell you, we've sat around and we know exactly. No, that's not true. What we do is we find the bite-sized pieces of information that people can digest, and hopefully that we were able to translate into a language that people can understand. Everybody's always talking about the process, but nobody tries to explain the process, right? So then for every 50 comments that we'll have of people praising us, there'll be someone that'll come in that'll be super confused. Oh, you guys are just speaking in terms, you guys aren't trying to help anybody get started. But if you understand what we're saying is that, for example, with the publishing and admin deal, Wendy was speaking on how she wasn't a fan of a publishing deal because that requires relinquishing ownership. Oh, well, how could you tell somebody that doesn't have it together not to take a deal? Because by not having it together, then they're going to give up all of their ownership, and whoever has the ownership is going to trickle down them pennies. So understanding that for every independent artist, for YouTube, for anybody with a podcast, for any DJ, for any creator, any influencer, brand owner, entrepreneur, ownership is your leverage. If you piss me off, I'm going to buy and register your .com. I'm going to buy and register your company name and your website name, and then I'm going to sell it back to you at a premium. If you don't want it, fuck you, it's mine. That is the real world. And that's what we try to get these artists to understand. Why would you send out a record to Brittany, Elyse, and DJ MK and they can't support it? Why would you give them a record that's not registered? What if they do love it? What if they happen to have a plug at 5 radio stations and they say, hey, y'all respect my opinion? I think this is a hit record. And those people play it because it came from her, but the record wasn't registered. Nobody made a clean version, so she made a clean version trying to help you. And she sent it out, not knowing that that version of that record is not going to get detected. It was pointless. Right. You wasted a resource, you wasted a favor. Everybody along the line looks like an asshole, but the artist gets to sit back and complain because they didn't see the ripples in the pond. Well, you know, what we're trying to get you guys to understand is nobody is telling you not to release music. We're telling you to release music properly. Nobody is telling you that you're doing it wrong. We're telling you that you're not trying to do it right. You're insisting on doing it wrong. There's a difference. Right. The only way to be lost is to know where you want to go and not be on the path to get there. So if you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know how many records you plan on dropping for the rest of the year, hey man, I'm going to drop a record right now and I'm working on some other records. That's not a plan for success. That's a hobby to you. Continue to do that. Continue to watch the podcast, continue to tap into the UpNex interviews, continue to tap into Off the Porch and learn media training. Watch these artists that do these interviews, learn what they did right, learn what they did wrong, what made you cringe, what did they say or what did they do that made you want to go find out more. Write those type of things down and implement that into your regimen when you're having interviews or when you're conducting. So understanding that this is a game of research. I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. The word research means look again, research, search again, search again, search again. If you don't search again, you won't know that, like for YouTube, that you guys may not have, well, I know you guys got production credits and some of the other stuff, but if you hadn't applied for your Pandora artist profile, then maybe you can get the information to apply for a Pandora creator profile, especially that you guys are doing the podcast. Because that's going to give you the ability to use Pandora and share stories, record personalized messages for people in certain markets that may be listening to you. So that way, when you run an advertisement, the people in New York that are listening to your show, they're not hearing you talk about you hosting at the Beacham on Saturday night. They're hearing about you interviewing DJ Flunk Flex on Friday night because you recorded a personalized interview for those people. So there's a way that you guys can start zeroing in all of us. It's a collective effort. The problem is that we don't want to share the information because to share the information in most people's eyes is to give me a disadvantage and give you an advantage, not understanding that knowledge is power only when applied. I give people the game all the day. 9 out of 10 they won't try to pursue it. I told my business partner this yesterday. It's crazy to me, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. There is somebody in the middle of the Pacific Ocean right now with a $5 million grant on a boat hunting for gold and lost treasure. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to explain to people the value of ownership, and they want to debate. I only debate with my equals. Everybody else, I'm educating.
I love that. So since, you know, you've agreed to share information and
come on with it.
So for this platform with UpNex Live, we thought it was the most important to stick to exactly what we called it, which is up next. You know, up next is commonly used as a term to describe what's up next as far as artists. Like, oh, he's up and coming, he got next, he's up next. And for us, it's like, there's so many things in this industry that are constantly changing and evolving, that up next to us is more like, what's next for you? What's next for, you know, corporations, social media, artists? Like it goes so much further than just like the artist world. So one of the main things we wanted to ask you about, if you were willing to share, is as far as the music industry goes, what do you think is up next, and what do you think people should no longer use as a tool to promote themselves?
There's nothing that you shouldn't use as a tool to promote yourself. Use it all at your disposal.
Effectively as it may have before.
Well, and here's my problem with that question in general. 9 out of 10 people that you meet that are industry professionals in this business never knew how to do it right from the beginning. They tried to compete. When you try to compete, you're already at a disadvantage because you don't understand what the goal is for the person you're competing against. And I say that to say an independent artist would go through Florida and would throw up 1 million posters because that's what they see in Rick Ross and Plies do. And where do those posters go back to? You don't even own your website, bro. Right. You don't own your Instagram. You keep changing Instagrams. You've lost your phone 4 times, and every time you lose your phone, you never registered your Instagram, so you're on your 5th Instagram account right now. So what can anybody be doing to promote themselves? What should they be looking out for? Spotify just released the In Focus review, or the In Focus demonstrative, where they're explaining marquee ads, where they're explaining playlist featuring, where they're explaining highlighting. Pandora has unveiled a slew of new programs, Amazon for artists and Twitch. Understanding that most of these young guys and young girls that get on the game and are artists, you could be translating that into a revenue stream for yourself, because you can connect your Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, to your Amazon Music, which is owned by Amazon. And when you stream yourself playing a video game live on Twitch, it'll stream on your Amazon Music profile. Now, if you ever decided you wanted to get on your phone and instead of making a selfie of you in the studio smoking weed, maybe sit the phone down and instruct your followers and say, hey, y'all, whichever one of you guys got Amazon, I need you to walk up to Alexa right now, just like this, and say, hey, Alexa, follow me. And when Alexa follows that person, the ring will turn yellow on Alexa whenever you have a new release. But you have to be able to have it up for 14 days and pitch it. These are the things that nobody understands. So it wouldn't matter if you went and got your video on TV. It wouldn't matter if you went and printed up 100 posters. If Bigger Rankin gave you an intro that DJ Drama was playing and Scream was playing and Greg Street put it on the radio, what does that mean? How does that help you? What are you going to benefit because somebody happened to be listening to the radio when that song was on? That's why radio isn't to introduce records. Radio is to sell records at every level, whether it's internet radio or so forth and so on. Understanding how people discover a platform, understanding why people tune into a radio station. That, 65% of the people that listen to radio say they do so because it's easier than having to log on to the phone. Of those 65% that listen to radio, 65% say that they do so because of the on-air personalities. So chances are that 7 out of 10 people that tuned into y'all show tuned in because it was y'all show. But not knowing how to connect all of those pieces is what ultimately is the stumbling block for all of us. Not understanding that as a DJ and as an artist, you should be leaving a track record. If you're hosting a club 5 nights a week and you don't have a touring track record of 500 tour dates in the last two years, you're hurting yourself, because you expect me to convince a touring company that you're worth hiring for tour support when all you had to do was upload the same flyers you ran into the ground on Instagram. Oh, follow me on Facebook, and why y'all ain't retweeting my shit? Nobody bothered to add a real Facebook event that's linked to your official tied-in profiles. Nobody bothered to make sure that that venue that you were hosting in was a registered venue. Nobody bothered to include the website. So when people come out of town and they come to Orlando and they go, fun night to go out, the companies that do have that information are the ones that always excel. And it's never the big guy, it's the more established guy that's winning. That's how he becomes the big guy. You don't become the big guy, just like I told somebody the other day, if I put my sticker on your car, it's not gonna make your car go fast. So what the fuck do you want a label to come sign you for? So they can put the sticker on the hood? The sticker on the hood isn't gonna make it go fast. The gas in there makes it go fast. The driver makes it go fast. The equipment that they could use, all of those things are your advantages, but you got to this point. So now when I put this sticker on your race car, if you don't start winning races, bitch, I'm gonna take this motherfucker right the fuck off, because I don't fuck with losers, and that's how artists get left on the shelf. You've been hearing a lot of talk lately, your people, oh man, labels are forcing artists to go viral on TikTok. You're a clown and a bozo. Labels are telling you, if you want me to put $250,000 on something that you are gonna claim you did on your own, then you have to do your part to sell it. Why would I put together a $4 million marketing campaign when you're around here and you won't even use the platform that you want me to pay for influencers on? You don't use TikTok, bitch. Why are you so worried about somebody else dancing to your TikTok video? You don't even get on the motherfucker. And when you do, you don't use your own music. You use the music that's in your phone. And that way, that's not commercially licensed and available. Instead of you staying up at night like you did when you was a kid, waiting to catch Santa Claus sliding his fat ass down that chimney, instead of you waiting up at midnight when your release dropped and being the first person on Instagram to make a video with your song and telling your followers, if y'all fuck with me, remix this video. Remix this video, use this audio. If you love me and you fuck with me, use this audio. No, fuck, that would be too much like right. That requires doing something more than just doing it. That requires thought. And people don't want, I've come to the realization that people don't like to talk business. People like to be taught business. And that's why they're tuning into the UpNex show.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I see where everything is evolving, and now it's even to the point where it's like artists are releasing singles with NFTs, like MK was saying earlier. And in this NFT world, I'm like, well, how long is this gonna last? What is it? What exactly is it when I'm releasing my single with the NFT? Like, what does any of that actually mean to actually get involved with?
Could you imagine if an artist had $6 million in NFTs in the same cell phone that they've lost 4 times when they've had to get new Instagrams? What do you think happens to them NFTs?
I know they would be hot.
So, you know, most people that are concerned and going crazy about the metaverse, most people that are going crazy about the metaverse don't have an active Facebook account. You got to be on Facebook to get in the metaverse, motherfucker. Why are you so worried about fucking, you don't even have a commerce account set up on your face. You don't have a business account set up on your Facebook. You don't have an EIN number or a tax ID number. That's why your merchandise isn't for sale on your Instagram. But you're worried about releasing your song in a digitized form that only people that can consume that content will enjoy. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you to do it and this. You want to sing, or you want to do an NFT? Okay, we're going to do an NFT and we're going to do a video and we're going to do behind the scenes. And don't make NFT be the new norm for you because you think everybody else is doing it. Newsflash, if you can't get a motherfucker to stream you on YouTube for free, use any of your content that's available to them on the social medias for the Frisco, what the fuck make you think somebody's going to take their hard-earned money, translate it into digital currency, open up a wallet, and then buy your shit so they can listen to it and do what with it exactly? I have the first official Waka Flocka NFT. Beautiful. I want you to buy the Waka Flocka NFT. I fuck with Brick Squad. I want you to buy the Yo Gotti one. I want you to buy the Young Thug one. I want you to buy every single one that you can get your hands on. I want you to go right now and go fuck with DJ Benjamin Lee and go get you 50 of them ghetto cats or whatever it is that he called, whatever his NFTs are. If that's what you into, beautiful. Include it into your marketing plan. There are people that are targeting Bitcoin, that are using they're becoming influencers. Cool. Include that into your plan. Don't just make, nothing in the music business works alone. I'm going to get my video on WorldStar. It doesn't work if you don't have your video everywhere else. For the life of me, I can't understand why an artist will spend $1,500 to record and shoot a video, put the video up, not have no end cards, not have no end screens, not have a description. They won't even take their lyrics and include it so that the people in the Philippines don't translate their shit so that their lyrics are interpreted properly.
Right.
You won't convert the video into the right format. You don't understand. Do y'all understand the difference between a YouTube short and a YouTube post? What makes a YouTube short? What makes a reel? Do you guys know the optimum times for reels and shorts? Like, these are the things that are more important to you than understanding what type of content to make, because you're going to make a whole bunch of bad content before you make good content. The key is start making content. But once you start doing that, you're going to start learning that the first 5 to 7 seconds are the most impactful. So when you go down your Explore feed, the majority of those videos that have those high dumbass numbers, 5 to 7 second videos. Right? Understanding that a video has to be under 57 seconds for it to be considered a reel. So if you put it up longer than a minute, it's going to become an Instagram TV. It's a post. It's no longer a reel. It's got to be under a minute to be a reel. Same principle applies to YouTube. It's got to be under 57 seconds for it to be considered a YouTube short. Now, why is it important to use YouTube shorts? Because YouTube wants to compete with TikTok the same way Instagram wants to compete with TikTok. So they don't want you to take your TikTok video and upload it to YouTube. They want you to create and post original content, so much so that YouTube has the Black Creator Fund with $30 million available to people who post consistently. It's a lot to do on your own. That's why it requires a team. You want Kodak Black results, then you understand that there's 268 people that work at Atlantic. How many people do you want on your team? What do you need those people to do? What are the roles? Do you have the content? Everybody wants to be successful in this business. What are you doing with each release? Each release has to be the alley-oop into it's the setup. This release sets up the next release, sets up the next release, because here's the thing. When you want the front page of Apple Music, you got to pitch at least 16 weeks in advance. That means you have to load your record 4 months before you want to drop it. Not tell them I want to drop it in 4 months. You got to upload it and set a release date. You got to give that baby a birthday. Now, before the baby is born, what do? We got to get the crib. We got to get the formula. We got to go to Lamaze. We got to go see all the specialists. We got to learn breathing. We got to get everything. We got to get our back. It's the same principle with the music. You got to go see your graphic designer. You got to go see the engineer. You got to go see the video director. You got to get your metadata together. How could you release a record and you don't have your ISRCs? That means you willing to put a record out there, and isn't your dream to be the #1 on Billboard? Isn't that your fucking dream if you're watching this show? Then how could you not register your music to make sure that it's included in the platform that supplies billboards the analytics that they use to measure records? No, you're more concerned with getting it on Say Cheese because you think that their demographic is your demographic. You're lost. You don't know what you're looking for. Therefore, you don't know what results to expect. So anything that makes you smile, it's like a baby. You put a rattle in front of them and some noise and shit, and they light up. Oh. And that's what those fake playlist streams are and shit like that, man. It's like, what are you doing that for? So that you can feel good about your music, because it's not going to make anybody else listen to it. Nobody's going to listen to your song because it has 200,000 streams on Spotify. Nobody. And it's going to make me go look How me, that I'm in the music business, how do I not know about this kid? How does this kid have 200,000 songs in this business and somebody hasn't sent me an email? No fucking way. Oh, that's why, because he's the hottest in Germany and Austria and Portugal, Spain, and in Green Bay. Why is he trying to get DJs in America to play his record? It's so funny because these artists will invest all of this money and all of this support across the world, but won't even translate their bio. If they have a bio, they won't translate it into German and put it on their Spotify. If their number one market is Germany, why wouldn't they have their bio in German and Spotify? Wouldn't that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with this shit, man, is that most people lack the greatest superpower of all, common sense.
Well, see, even when you're talking about streams, I'm like, a lot of times when people want to book shows and do things like that, and I'm looking at the streams, sometimes those streams don't automatically translate to fans. And I feel like when they try to pitch you the artist, they're pitching as if the streams translates to fans. And then when you do the show and you get 1% of whatever that person has been streaming, you're looking at it like something ain't adding up here.
What does 200,000 streams in Buffalo mean to you in Orlando, Florida?
Nothing.
What a draw, what type of appeal? What could you say to anybody, anybody that follows you on social media or anybody that you engage with or any industry professionals? Honestly, what could you say to them to justify you booking and paying for and helping promote an artist whose number one city is Phoenix, Arizona? Not that there's anything wrong with Phoenix, Arizona, except you're in Florida. You're in Orlando, Florida. You're about 3,000 to 4,000 miles away. So you mean to tell me that nobody in between?
Right.
Where are your top markets? In order for you to put together a promo run, you're going to have to know what cities you're going to want to go to. Why would you want to go to New York and spend $15,000 on a promo run in New York if nobody streams your music in New York? If your number one market is Savannah, Georgia, why the fuck are you going to New York City? Why are you going to Miami if your number one market is Tallahassee? Why are you going to Orlando? See, these are the things that because there's no sizzle there. There's no nightlife. There's no big clubs. There's no big name DJs or big radio stations or buildings that I can go take a picture in front of the logo and make people believe that I'm successful, because for some odd reason, that seems to be the norm, appearing to be successful. The appearance of success is enough motivation to get these guys to wake up and cap another day. To cap or not to cap? That is the question.
I love it. I mean, you went above and beyond what I was even going to ask. I don't really have nothing left because that was just layers of things I was going to get into, but more.
I'm over here like, can I call you tomorrow?
Honestly, as an artist that's listening to this show, if you don't have the 53 lines of metadata, then what are we talking about? If you don't have, if you're talking about collections and you're talking about publishing and you're talking about video and distribution, if you don't have the 120 plus 150 lines of metadata, what are you trying to explain to me? What are you in this for? You're not in this to be successful because you don't have any idea how to collect and archive the information necessary for you to be successful at the next level. You're willing to let somebody else come in and do it for you and then holler that you got raped. It's whenever the money is coming in, it's never a problem. It's only when they stop getting booked and the streams start falling that they want to, and get online and, oh man, people were stealing from me, my daddy, and I'm like, oh, you just a bozo. You did all the wrong shit, buddy. Listen, it's legacy artists right now. This is not just an independent artist problem. This is a plague that is affecting the entertainment industry, the music industry specifically, okay? People do not understand that if all of your infrastructure and business is not together, you are not collecting all of your money. And whatever you don't collect goes into a box that is then distributed to the very same people that you're already paying to put your shit where it is. Stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Stop demanding that your song that you haven't personally reached. We did the numbers. If an artist wants to get 1 million streams on a song, and you guys can Google all of this, this is all Googleable facts, okay? Average engagement is 2 to 3% on social media across the board, okay? So if a person wants to get 1 million streams on a song, that's 2% of 50 million people. I want you to follow me with the numbers and tell me where it doesn't make sense. In order for you to reach 50 million people, you're gonna have to run advertisements, okay? Now, a rule of marketing says that the average consumer has to see something 7 times before they become familiar enough with it to try it and experience it, okay? 7 times. In a digital age, some people will say it's 7 times 7, 49 times. Kingpin, how is that possible? When was the last time you scrolled down your Instagram and seen a whole bunch of shit, closed your phone, and they gonna put a gun to your head and you don't remember what you've seen? It's only the fact that we seen the Chris Rock slap 85 times on our timeline that we remembered it. Okay. So Facebook, for example, makes it very affordable for the average small business owner to reach 50 million people. It's like 25 cents for 1,000 people to reach them with the ads. Okay. So I think it ends up being like maybe 3,000, we'll call it $3,000 to reach 50 million people. But you got to do that 7 times. So that's 21,000 people. That's $21,000 to reach 1 million people. Do y'all know how much 1 million stream pays out? About $2,000. You're willing to invest $21,000 to run advertisements on profiles that you don't know who's watching, you don't know what device, you don't know what country, you don't know what time, you don't know what gender, you don't know what age, but you're gonna spend $21,000 so that you can get a $2,000 payday. But here's the funniest part about it, because it gets funnier than that. Do you know that if those same people sold 50 hoodies at $40 a piece, they'd make $2,000? Spotify, for example, allows you to put up to 3 pieces of merchandise on the front page of your Spotify profile. So if you got if you advertised your profile to 50 million people, not only did you have music, but you also had 3 shirts, 3 sweaters, let's just say give it 0.5% of 1, just 1% of 50 million people is what? 50,000. We'll say 0.5 of 1. 25,000 people bought your $20 t-shirt.
So people doing things backwards.
They don't want to think forwards. You're not making money off this shit because you don't want to. You don't know how to. You sit around and you watch Jay-Z wear Sean Carter and you watch 50 Cent wear G-Unit clothing and it doesn't dawn on you to go get Joe Bubblegum. You see what I'm wearing? This is my brand. This is me. You want this? It's for sale. Go to the website and get it. That's what it's got to be about, folks, because every time you walk out the house, you're pushing the brand. People see you on the street. Hey, man, I love your show. You're pushing the brand. People see you at the restaurant. Hey, man, I love that album. You're pushing the brand. People see you out with the kids. Hey, man, can I take a picture with you? I really love what you're doing. You're pushing the brand. So why wouldn't you want ownership, full ownership in the value of that brand? How do you ever expect to grow that brand if you don't know how to market and sell what it is that you're trying to? You know why it's not called the music industry no more? Because industry is defined as the taking and manufacturing of raw goods into a sellable product. They don't make vinyl no more. There's not a mass production line like there once was. Think about that. When a motherfucker recorded a record back in the days, a bitch had to send it off. They had to take it, package it, put it in a box, put that box on a truck, ship that truck anywhere across the country, unload that box, unpackage that box, take that product and put it on a shelf. That process has been eliminated. That process is gone. Where do you go buy CDs at now? DJs?
I don't know.
Where do you go buy records? If you don't buy it online, where do you buy your physical hard copy music at?
I don't remember the last time I bought physical hard copy anything. I mean, I'm a DJ, so if I find something like if Kendrick Lamar is his latest album, if his merch store sells a vinyl record and it's limited edition, as a fan, I may buy that, but it's not to play. It's a
keepsake. It's a tangible item. Absolutely, it's a promotional item.
More than like,
so,
You didn't go.
Understanding that you have to make the money off of your business. You have to make the money off your product. Waiting for the label to come in and sign you and do it means that the label is going to sell your product off of their website, and then they're going to collect the money, and then they're going to give you a percentage off of based off of what you agreed to in your agreement and contract with them that you signed 4 years ago when Spotify didn't have stores, jackass. And then you're wondering why you can't get out your deal. Why am I not getting no money? Could you imagine the engineer that had enough sense to keep the original sessions of any of the most classic mixtapes? Because they're all 15, 20 years old. They can all be re-released and re-recorded. Nobody bothered to keep the session.
Right.
The craziest shit in the world to me. Your favorite rapper right now is Bleeding Pennies. I double dog dare you. Go on your favorite streaming platform and don't look at it as a fan. Look at it as a business person that wants to invest with your. If you had $1 million and you can invest in your favorite artist, go find your favorite artist, look at their profiles, and tell me if you had $1 million, what it is that you could benefit from building with them. Not a fucking thing. The ones that you can are the ones that are super successful because they have built their brand, they're a character, and they sell it. Most of these people don't have anything to sell. There's no fan experience. It's fuck you, I'm too cool, I'm gonna bang your bitch. Your man ain't shit because he want to sleep with me. I got all the money. You're poor. You don't hustle. You're dying. And it's all that. And people understand that less than 1% of the world's population are criminals. So who are you trying to appeal to, bro? I want to make money off of music. I don't want to make money off of misery. And that's what these people have done far too long in the music industry. They've made money off of misery, making artists miserable and putting out miserable music with no end goal in mind. And it's hurt the industry because everybody looks at those 1 or 2, 3, 4 guys and girls and ladies and men that have made it at the next level. And then those same people have the audacity to get on that main platform and say, I don't really take this shit serious. And that's why not one of those fucking artists is still relevant today or streaming today.
I guess I have one question. How do you think the music industry will change in the next couple years with the way that now they're using lyrics in the courtroom?
You know, I'm not even taking it that far. They have, if you don't know, every time that you use your phone, you're programming artificial intelligence. Okay, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is not the Terminator. This is not your phone and the man making a plot against you. This is companies giving you a catered experience, okay? So if you could think of any futuristic movie that you've ever seen, when you walk up, the billboards are the ones that you like to see, and it's only the shit. That's exactly what's happening to you right now. Why do I say all of that? I was just watching a documentary, and I forget the name of it. I'll DM you guys when I remember it. But they were talking about how in 5 years, there's going to be no more graphic designers, because now they have the artificial intelligence that can recreate the Mona Lisa with 15,000 different haircuts in the blink of an eye, for example. You'll never know it wasn't a Rembrandt, right? So I say all that to say, now there's a company that has invested in audio detection software that they're betting their money on can detect a hit. So you put your song in this program, and this song will tell you this is going to be a hit. This bitch going to go double wood. It won't be long before the same. How many real producers that you guys know play the instruments that they make music with? It's digitized. Yeah. So when you get the free software or when you get the unlicensed software and you're using those keystrokes, a lot of these programs, they tell you when you sign up for it that you're allowing them to capture your keystrokes. So it's not that they're storing your passwords, they're understanding how you use the device. And by definition, all of that information is archived and potentially sold. So understanding what the future is for us, understanding how content is going to be consumed, understanding what we have to do. You're more, as a creator, you should be trying to figure out how you can create more content so that you can claim a bigger piece of the digital pie, of the metaverse pie. If you don't have an active Facebook account, what the fuck do you care about the metaverse for? If you're not versed in Bitcoin and in digital currency, what the fuck are you worried about NFTs for? You can't, what you gonna do? How you gonna pay for it? What you gonna go around and give somebody $10 for it? You know, you have to be enrolled in programs and have, so if you're willing to take all of the time and effort to open a digital wallet, verify that it's you, and do all of those things to now create a customized and original piece of content that you're gonna sell only to a select amount of people, but you don't even have your Spotify profile claimed, you're a fucking idiot. You worried about an NFT, bitch, and you don't even have your Apple profile. You have 8 Apple profiles. That's why you don't have no Shazam, fucker. That's why none of your fucking tour dates will ever show up on Bands in Town, will never show up on Shazam, will never show up on Apple. Nobody will ever book you. The only people that will book you will be the ones that want to sink their teeth in you after you've blood, sweated, and tears and got one radio hit record. And you're too stupid to understand that if you don't play that card right, you're gonna fuck yourself out of a relationship and you're gonna be chasing that one record for the rest of your career. For most people, that's okay. But if you wanna feed your kids off of this shit, if you want your great grandkids to be able to eat off of all of your hard work, own it now. Own it now. Own the information now. So that tomorrow, those people that you love and that supported you, when you make it big, you can start allocating whatever it is you need so that everybody can be happy. But if you don't take the time to own it now, somebody is going to claim ownership to it, and then they're going to give you what you accept. When I said that the other day on the podcast, people thought I was, that's why nobody wins. I didn't say I believe that. I said I win because I understand that. People don't give me what I deserve. Motherfucker, I deserve $1 million every day of my life. They give me what I accept. I don't go hard for the reward. I go hard for me. There's no paycheck. There's no plaque. There's no artist. There's no pat on the back. There's nothing more than I want than to know that I did the best that I could. That's it. That's all I want to do. And the best that I could is always going to outdo somebody else that's unprepared. Because I'm prepared. I came ready to fight. I didn't come to fight. I came to win. That's the difference between the winners and the losers. Some of them came to play, some of them came to win. The ones that came to win, you know who they are. They're excelling at everything they do, like y'all two. Excelling at everything that you do, everything that you touch is turning to gold. And that's a testament to what you've contributed to your brand. Not because of what anybody can get from you, but what people feel that they can get by attaching themselves to you. That's when you know you got something worth taking to the top.
Got so many gems.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all letting me ramble on. You know, I get excited. I flip a wig every now and again because I love what I do. I go to bed ready to wake up. So
that's when you be like, thank you and good night.
And that's a good night. No, and to be honest, like from the heart, like we really are passionate about creating the conversation. So when I say like we're grateful that you would share and you're grateful that you will ramble, it's because not everybody is as willing to do that. And I think for us, we've given, whether it was paid, whether anybody else but us saw the bigger picture. And we're bigger picture people. And I think that, when things didn't go our way, it hurts a little bit different and you're taking it more personal. Because at the end of the day, you're feeling like, man, like I do this in real life. I wake up and I do this from the time I go to sleep to the time I go to bed. And I'm trying every which way to figure it out. And when it's not valued or appreciated, and you know that you went above and beyond, the call to action, it's just,
And can I say something to that, please? Just to give you guys some perspective, is that I want you to understand that success is blind. Fair is a place where they judge pigs. Everybody that's successful didn't necessarily earn it. Success is available for everybody that wants it, and whoever gets to it first. And then to remain successful, you have to do what you did the first time again and again and again and again. How fast are you willing to run when the distance is unknown? Will you give it all to your heart stops? If a cheetah doesn't catch its prey within the first 10 to 15 seconds, it'll die, because it'll literally run until its heart or brain melts. It doesn't know how to stop. You want to get to the top, then you will learn not to know how to stop. You don't rest when you're tired. You rest when the job is done. When you think you got nothing else, if you're going to sit back and watch TV, then you need to be tweeting about your watching TV. You're always working. You're pushing the brand. If you're going to sit there and play the game, turn the camera around, fire up Twitch, and let somebody sit there, and you just got to do it. There's never a reason that you can't use what it is that you're doing to always work and to push your agenda. And if there's anything that I can leave the people that came to UpNex with, is that nobody is going to want your success for you more than you. Attitude reflects leadership. And if you wake up and don't take this shit serious, nobody will, especially the people that you pay, because they'll understand that you paid for them to give you a result. They're going to give you exactly what you paid for. Stop doing bad business and get your shit right.
Mic drop.
Period, boo.
Shout out to Bigger Rankin Man, the OG. Shout out to Wendy Day. Shout out to my business partner, the CEO Whisperer, aka I Am the Connect, Tony G. Shout out to Al Green, my other business partner, man, with Art Rev Soul. Anybody that's listening to your show right now, they go to artrevsoul.com. At the very bottom of the homepage, they can click a link, and it's going to give them the option to request an audit. All we do is we ask your name, your Twitter, your Instagram, and a link to your most recent release. Send that to us. Our team members are going to review. We're going to go in. We're going to take a deep dive and see where the rabbit hole takes us. And we're going to grab screenshots of everything that you need to get fixed. We're going to send it back to you and tell you, hey, man, this is what you're going to need to get done. And then we're going to give you our sales pitch. Before I can tell you what it is that I can do for you, I want you to see what it is that has to get fixed before anybody can help you grow in the music business. So artrevsoul.com, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The website never shuts down. The cheatcodepodcast.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We got 11 episodes of the cheat code up, 30 minutes a piece. It's quicker than watching a series of Game of Thrones. And there's just so many valuable pieces of information. Wendy Day, how could you debate with a lady that has helped take more brothers to the promised land than Phil Jackson? How could you argue with the young man that is responsible for being at the forefront of records that are breaking for some of the most prominent artists coming out of the entertainment industry in general with Ferrari Simmons? And of course, who doesn't want to watch me potentially talk shit and call out your favorite person by name? Because I don't give a fuck. I don't want to make friends no more in this business. I want to make millionaires. And I'm understanding that in order to do that, I'm going to have to make enemies. So I'm down with it.
We here for it. We here for it. Appreciate you so
much. Gang, man. Up next, baby. I'm Kingpin. I may not be up next, but if you're watching this, you most certainly will be. Just take all of the gems that we dropped, pick them all up, and put them in your crown, goddammit, because we want to see you win.
Okay.